Swidey, and excellent read. It's a true story. That means it's nonfiction. Fiction, nonfiction. Anyway, so really what it's about is people making bad decisions in the name of money. Yep. It's a human problem, right? People attached to the form level of our experience and not trusting their spiritual instincts. So this is all about a group of divers, deep water divers, industrial divers that have to go and pull the corks. I'm just using, that's my paraphrase, corks from the end of this 10-mile long pipe that goes underneath Boston Harbor out to the Atlantic Ocean. And it's for a sewage outfall. So this pipe's underneath the ocean floor and it goes 10 miles. And at the end of 10 miles, there's like 52 corks in the thing that connects it to a bunch of pipes that are going to allow the water to filter up into the ocean. Your typical sewage problem, send it out into the ocean. Anyway. So these guys go down and there's no air in this 10-mile long tunnel. And I think the radical part is just trying to grasp what a 10-mile tunnel is all about, that dead ends. Well, anyway, there's no air in there. It's pitch black. And they take these Hummers down into there to go pull these plugs. But they got to make their own air, right? Because there's no air down there. So they got to bring their own air and mix it. And it's all basically about how the donkey who's mixing their air or making the contraption to mix their air doesn't know what he's doing, but he's a total kook and total arrogant asshole. And he won't listen to anything the divers say. And the divers are all like, dude, your contraption's kind of hoopty. I don't know if it's going to work. And there's all sorts of problems leading up to it. And one of the dudes who signs up for it gets a look at the scene and is like, I ain't getting paid enough and I'm out. I'm gone. This guy's a jackass. Now understand that the guy who's the jackass isn't the only problem. There's all these gnarly mega corporations who are building this pipe and the sewer plant, and they're behind schedule. So they subcontract out to these little dive organizations, dive companies, to fix the problem. Again, it's a story of giant corporations just passing the buck down the food chain and basically going, we got a problem we can't figure out. Somebody else needs to hold the liability. Somebody else needs to hold the liability. Well, the liability ended up in the hands of these divers, and a couple of them croaked, man, because the air mixing thing didn't work. But I get the real gist of this story that I picked up on is that all of the divers who died and who were down there, 5 divers went down, 2 of them died, were all like, bro, there's something not working with your air system. And they had been down in the tunnel 2 days prior, they were on their 3rd day down there when it all went bad. And they were all talking about, the first 2 days, there's all sorts of problems with how the air system's working and stuff. And they come back and regroup. And the arrogant guy is like, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. And these guys don't listen to their internal self. And when they're like, there's something wrong with this system, they go back down into the tunnel, man. So you read that, and why are they all going back down into the tunnel, man? Basically, man, they're trying to collect a paycheck, right? And I think this ties into a couple of videos I made about a month ago about, man, when there's a bad scene going on at the workplace, split. That's always been my thing. Like in the job I do, it's generally not that dangerous, but every now and then it gets dangerous, especially when you're lifting giant heavy beams over your head with a bunch of other dudes and you're maneuvering big heavy objects and people aren't being cautious and safe. I mean, I'll make a big giant fuss because it's not worth what I'm getting paid to get hurt. And that's what I think ultimately that why this is an interesting story is it's about, look, these guys who went down in the tunnel, you know, one of them was buying like a house, and the other guy, you know, was just a cool dude who, anyway, the point is they all had financial reasons basically to go down in this tunnel. But when you're dead, doesn't matter, right? You're better off, in my realization of it all is you're better off being broke and alive for your family than dead for your family because you made a bad decision because you were worried about paying the bill at the end of the month. And I think that's how a lot of us operate. We don't operate in a world of abundance where it's like, I'm going to walk off the job because this isn't safe. I don't need this job because it's not safe for me. So I highly recommend this book. It's got all sorts of like praise from, all sorts of reviews that say it's a bomber book, but the illusion says it's a bomber read, man. It's a page turner. I bought this book 8 days ago, blew through it to the point where like the last 200 pages I did in 3 nights because I was just up like, whoa, what's going on, man? This is critical. These dudes aren't going to make it out of this tunnel alive. But what also, I guess the other thing is divers are trained to like deal with adverse realities. And how the 3 guys who make it out of the tunnel survive is because they don't panic. Like that's the thing is as it's about not panicking too. Like regardless of all the players and the nonsense, when you're at the end of the 10-mile tunnel and you run out of air, what are you going to do? You're going to panic and die, or are you going to start using all your backup protocols and your experience as a human being and a diver to like get out of this situation? So I think there's a lot of valuable information in this book, but I think it's really, if you take the step back and read about trusting your inner voice, man. When your inner voice tells you it's time to leave, you got to listen to it. It's there to tell you, man. So that's it. Trapped Under the Sea by Neil Swidey, and I highly recommend it.